Welcome to the Sound and Healing Podcast, where life is experienced, sound is celebrated, and healing is inevitable. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the 7th episode of Sound and Healing.
Welcome, loves.
Can you believe we're at the 7th episode already?
I feel with everyone that I'm actually dropping in. I don't know if it's good for the listeners. It sure is good for me.
Well, as you can see, you have us both back again here in this episode. We're going to start this out by playing my latest recording that I dropped in June called Kuan Yin. And it's the first track of what will be an eventual album called Emerging with the Divine Feminine. So we're going to take a moment here and let you listen to the track if you haven't already heard it. So here we go. We'll let you listen. All right, so that was Kuan Yin. I want to say by Claire Bigley, but yet that doesn't feel like it fully encapsulates it.
What does encapsulate it, Claire?
You know, there's a little bit of Chopin thrown in that piece. There's a Chopin prelude that's there, and also it feels like I was asking Kuan Yin to come through me. How does Kuan Yin want to be heard musically? So it feels like there's so much more than me in the picture of this, for sure.
Well, and for sure, Chopin was clearly a man, but he had some divine feminine coming through him. As I listen to Chopin, I mean, the dropping in is very, very deep and expansive.
Yeah, that's for sure. And when I was preparing, just before I started to record this track, I spent some time, kind of communing with Kuan Yin, in conversation with Kuan Yin. And so I was led to use Chopin's Raindrop Prelude, which some of you will recognize. And I also got such a pervasive feeling of water that wanted to come through this. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I really want to reflect that no creation is truly new. We're all creating together. The we is very operant, and everything that has gone before us in time is really supportive. In addition to everything that already is. I know that's a mystical thing to throw in there, but had to do that. And what comes through comes towards us. And I'm hoping that it really touched you as deeply as it touched me. I know that the first time I heard this, Claire, I was just crying. And crying because I was so moved. I was so deeply touched. My heart was so open. And this time when I heard it, I heard an invitation to receive into the spaces within me that need compassion. So I went into my shoulders, both of which are frozen, and my right shoulder has a lot of pain. Now I understand chronic pain. And it was so, well, I invite you to do the same. Just perhaps pause and take a moment and feel it. And the reason that I speak about receiving into the spaces that require some compassion is because of the history of Kuan Yin, which you know about, Claire. Do you want to speak to that?
I read the story a long time ago, and so it's not in the forefront of my memory. So if you have more access to it, I'd love for you to share it.
Yeah, Kuan Yin, I think many of us know is, from a Buddhist perspective, considered a bodhisattva or a goddess of compassion and kindness, right? You see statues of Kuan Yin. They're very, very beautiful. They're just the beauty of the feminine in her soft, curving robes, right? Just in various forms offering a loving gaze, a mother's gaze. Now, what's interesting is I read the history of Kuan Yin and how this came to be, that the Buddhism, as it emerged from India, had a deity associated with, or a form right? A consciousness associated with compassion. This was a masculine form. But the Avalokitesvara. But when it got to more of the Far East, China and other Far East countries, it was embodied as a she. And so that's really beautiful, right? That it in fact has then qualities of both masculine and feminine. And as I read more, here's something that's just going to knock you out. That Kuan Yin is described as she who hears the sound of tears everywhere. And therefore associated with sound.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah, I had not read that.
And here's and also as she who has 1,000 eyes.
Yeah.
Right. For seeing
all the facets, all the perspectives. Yeah.
She who perceives the sounds of the world. And Claire, if I can just get woo-woo here for a moment with you, and you and I marinate in woo-woo, it's okay. Let's be very transparent about that.
We're not afraid of the woo.
No, we're here. We're very, very strongly grounded in body and in our work and in our offering of healing at a very pragmatic and physical level.
Yep.
And we're also deeply spiritual and recognizing how energy flows, right? And even in our way of talking about how the energy of Kuan Yin was coming through you for this piece of music, through not only to you, but for you, the listener, all of us. But that energies take shape. And that you have been told that energetically you carry the energy of Kuan Yin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's beautiful that this came through you as a heralding piece for this new album that you're creating about the female divine. I wanted to take a moment too to consider, my response to this piece of music this time, just listening again and receiving that compassion. And there's a difference between empathy and compassion. Empathy is the feeling with, the feeling of what someone else is experiencing. Compassion is a step extra. It's actually not only the capacity to feel, but the capacity to respond. And so I was feeling that incredibly kind, loving, maternal response. And what I was experiencing was how the loving mother gazes at you and smiles lovingly. All right, I keep saying love. Here it is. When you're suffering, communicating, I'm right here with you. I'm not going anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here with you. I'm next to you. I'm behind you. I'm in front of you. I'm embracing you. And then she'll say, well, let's try this, love. Oh, that didn't work? Let's try this. Let's try this. And giving you the sense in her response that there is a abundance, a never-ending response to your suffering. And so this sense that I'm not only not suffering alone, but there is hope. Not isolated, not alone, and not hopeless. And I was so touched again. I want to thank you, love.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for such a beautifully, beautifully present listening. And I want to share that as you were, especially at the end, recounting the compassion and the many ways in which Kuan Yin and this energy of compassion meets us all in our different flavors of suffering
And need.
and need.
And the different flavors and the different capacities for receiving. Right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And it's okay. It's okay if the doors only open a little bit. Celebrate that.
Because there's no feeling of wanting to fix.
No fixing.
It's simply being with and holding the hand. And the other thing that I'm struck with is musically, you'll hear me come back to this again and again in this podcast, is one of the ways that music is so healing is that it is holding all of these different facets, these different colors, these different sound waves, intentions that resonate with all of these different aspects of us, and it keeps moving. There's rhythm to it. I wasn't aware of any kind of story, but I was aware of, I felt the softness, I felt enveloping, I felt, again, I was pulled to water, right? That beginning, almost sounding like raindrops. Surprise, surprise, Chopin's Raindrop Prelude, no mistake, right? But you'll hear me take that beginning part of that prelude and I pause. It almost seems like it's the end of the piece. And then it continues. So throughout this track, there are those pause points to take a breath, to allow stillness, to allow that holding of what may be presenting as a listener's hearing it, as a listener's experiencing that. And I was conscious of that. I wanted the pacing of this to be slow, to be gentle. You'll notice there's no other kind of instruments on this. It's just the piano. Now, given there are many different colors and textures I use in the piano in this, but I didn't want to introduce anything that would be in any way disruptive or ripple the flow that was within what was coming through.
Breath and pause and breath. We're holding our breath in the world right now.
And I would say, in some cases, stopping it. Consciously stopping it. Yeah, that is very present.
And when we stop breath, we stop our capacity to feel. And feeling is a portal. Our emotions, our sensations of emotions, getting even deeper, the presence of the sensation of emotion. These are all portals to the deep, expansive states of being. You can, whether listening to this piece of music, some other piece of music, offering compassion to yourself, any sound really, even if you have a meditation bowl, listen and then hear it as the sound drops away, can help you hold any sensations and emotions that are arising to be held. There is so much grief and sorrow in the world right now. So the listening to pieces of music such as this that are evocative invite your courage. You know, courage comes from courage, heart, of heart, to feel whatever it is you're feeling. Allow the tears, and here it comes, the invitation of this piece of music, which invokes Kuan Yin, is to allow your tears to be received by the love of the one who is listening to you, who could be yourself, your higher self. It could be a dear, dear friend and sister, such as Claire is to me, a teacher, a family member, someone you trust deeply. And perhaps you can even listen to this piece of music with them. My invitation is to listen to this piece of music with headphones on. Really take it in. And then move into how you felt it in your body. What is arising? What are the waves? What is the arc of the emotion? How does it arise? Where does it move in your body? And how does it subside? Where is it washing away to? If it's something really big, here's an off the deep end invitation. You can return it to source, to be held. So much sorrow in the world right now is collective and transgenerational. It might feel like it is ours. It may not be. The invitation for you in listening to this piece of music is, you are not a you, you're a we. We're in this together. We heal together.
Amen.
Thank you, beloveds, for tuning in today.
Thank you so much. Kuan Yin is available for listening on any streaming platforms, and we leave you with such love. Thank you. Thanks so very much for listening to our podcast. We hope you enjoyed yourself and will share the sound and the healing with your friends. Please go to our website with any questions or comments you may have, as we plan on using your questions in upcoming episodes. Our website and socials are included at the bottom of our episode descriptions, so please join us to continue the discussion. Until next time, keep on sounding and healing.